Hey everyone, and welcome. So, here's a wild thought for you. What if you could say almost anything you needed to say, but with only 850 words? Today, we're going to explore that exact idea by taking just one of those super important words, reward, and breaking it all the way down. You'll be amazed at how much is packed inside. I mean, just think about that for a second. A version of English stripped down to its absolute essentials. A toolkit for crystal clear communication. What ideas, what concepts would be so fundamental that they would have to make the cut? Well, it turns out, according to the Simple English Wiktionary, which is our guide for today's breakdown, the word reward is one of them. It's on that essential 850 list. It's considered a core building block for talking to each other. So today, we're putting it under the microscope to figure out why. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll quickly talk about this idea of a core language. Then, we're going to dive deep into reward, looking at it as a noun, then as a verb. And finally, we'll check out its family of related words. It sounds simple, but trust me, there's a lot to unpack here. So, what even is this BE 550 list? Well, it's the heart of something called Basic English. It was designed to be a simplified language for clear international communication. And these aren't just random words. They're the most useful ones for getting complex ideas across in a simple way. Okay, so let's zero in on our star for today, reward. We're going to use its entry in the Simple English Wiktionary as a roadmap to see exactly what makes it so darn essential. You know, what's funny is even with a core word like this, you still hear little differences. In the UK, it's kind of softer, like reward. But in the US, you get that harder R sound, reward. It's a small thing, but it just goes to show how language is always shifting even at its very foundation. Let's start with the first way we usually use this word. As a noun, a thing you can get. This is where all the classic meaning is really held. This right here is the classic definition, the one we all learn in kindergarten, right? It's a simple, positive deal. You do something good and you get something good back. This is really the bedrock of what the word means. And this example from the source just nails it. The action, working hard. The something good, extra money. It's a perfect cause and effect relationship that we understand from a super young age. Okay, so the second meaning gets a little more specific. Here, a reward is more like a prize, something offered up for a very particular achievement, or maybe for some information. And the source connects this meaning to the word bounty. And that just paints such a clear picture, doesn't it? A reward for finding a lost dog, or a bounty for catching a fugitive. It's a prize for a very specific, often public, act. Now, this is where our understanding of reward suddenly gets way more complex, because it isn't always positive. A reward can just be the outcome of what you did, for better or for worse. The key synonym to lock onto here is consequence. Think about it. When we say someone got their just rewards, we usually mean they face the negative consequences of their actions. This adds this surprising, totally neutral layer to the word. And this brings us to the really clear opposite. For that first positive definition we talked about, the antonym is punishment. It's a perfect balance, right? One encourages you to do something, the other discourages you. Okay, let's switch gears and move on to the verb. Now we're not talking about the thing itself, but the act of giving that thing. We're putting the word into action. As a verb, to reward is simply the action of giving. It's what makes the noun happen. A company rewards its employees, a parent rewards a child. It's the active side of this whole equation. This example is so interesting because it's a challenge, right? It's a question. It reminds us that the act of rewarding reinforces a behavior, and it makes you stop and ask, wait, are we rewarding the right behavior here? And here you can see just how flexible it is. He rewards. They were rewarded. The experience was rewarding. This shows how easily this core verb can change to fit different tenses, which is absolutely crucial for any word that's going to make it onto that BE 550 list. And finally, no word is an island. To really truly get reward, we've got to look at its family, the other words that are built on the same foundation. So from this one root, reward, you get a whole family. An action can be rewardable. The person giving it is the rewarder. If you do all the work for nothing, you're unrewarded. And then you have its close cousin, award, which just feels a little more official, doesn't it? So let's wrap this all up. We've taken one little word, reward, and we've seen it mean a good thing, a neutral thing, and the very action of giving. It is an incredibly efficient piece of language. And I think the big insight here is that basic does not mean simple. These fundamental words are like icebergs. There is so much meaning hiding just below the surface. And understanding all those hidden layers, that's the real key to being a great communicator. And that brings us right back to the beginning. This depth, this flexibility, this power to talk about this core idea of action and consequence. That is why reward earns its spot as one of the 850 most essential words in English. So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. What's the most rewarding word in your own vocabulary? Give it some thought. Thanks so much for joining me for this deep dive today.